Hey, how'd you get in here? Just a quick update. This year seems to be starting off really strong, in spite of uh, my expectations were very low going into January on any creative projects, and I had a pretty big year last year. A lot got done, and I was really pleased with it all. But I wasn't very motivated when January came around after I'd taken a couple months sabbatical. So I wasn't sure if I was even going to start anything for a while. But after doing some soul searching, I decided that I needed to keep going. So here I am. It's almost March, amazingly. And I actually have 10 songs completed for my next album. Um, Tentative title is Apartment 213. It's going to be an interesting album. I um, I decided after getting some feedback from different folks to take it down in terms of effects. So I took my favorite vocal plugin off of myself and opted for a drier, uh, more intimate vocal, I guess I would say. And I also decided to change my guitar tone to a more subtle form. So there's not a lot of overdrive on this album either. Um, it's a very odd mix of songs, which I'm almost doing deliberately because I want to try to experiment more, get back out there and try some new things that I haven't been trying. I mean, I've tried to be experimental on every album, but the experiment this time is to kind of force myself to focus on performance and less on gadgets. And um, so I'm hoping that this album demonstrates that. I think it does. And as again, I'm only a couple songs away from finishing it. I anticipate it getting done sometime in March and getting it out either that month or the month after. Don't have any videos yet in the works, but I'm thinking about it. There's a cover done. You'll see it in the video here. I'll put it up on a graphic. Cover's really fun. It was based on my idea was kind of do something like an MC Escher image where there's impossible perspective or impossible um, visuals that I used are the apartment, which is apartment 213, to make a Photoshop of different stairwells, ascending, descending, upside down, sideways, and then I dropped one red high heel in the middle of it because I thought it was an interesting image and it would kind of pop in the middle. And if you look really closely, embedded in that sole of that heel is the Ma image, because I always have to have that in my album covers. I was trying to figure out where I was going to put that, and then that came to mind. So I also then did the album titling as embedded in the wall. That may change. I know that's the version I have right now. I don't know. I think the title is pretty solid, so I'm going to go with it. By the way, this is the world's smallest recording studio. It's this wide. I can put my hands right here. But this is where the magic gets done. This is where I worked on half of last album and all of this one. I'm amazed that I'm able to make things work in this small space as well as they are. But I'm glad that it hasn't affected my output or my productivity. I'm imagining at some point this summer we're going to be moving out of this apartment into a house. And so that I'm hoping that gives me a little more room to work with. Other topics. I'd like to get a new guitar. I'm looking at guitars. I'm looking at a St. Vincent, similar to the blue one I used to borrow. I'd like to get a St. Vincent guitar because they look cool. Other than that, I think we all are really having a tough time dealing with the situation that's going on in the world because of our president. I call him that with big quotes around it. He is mentally and physically ill, and he's trying to take us all with him. And a lot of the songs on this record, of course, allude to those issues. There's some notable songs. Toys of War I like a lot. I like the song Eras of Me is really probably one of the best songs I've written. And there's some trappings of Pink Floyd in there. But I also wrote some country songs. I wrote a Johnny Cash kind of homage, but I did it kind of as Johnny Cash because I thought it was kind of maybe a little hokey, but I thought it was kind of funny, and it does work with the song. And then I wrote another sort of country song that's a little more myself. But I toyed with a lot of different types of genre. I actually let the Beatles influence me a little bit on this record, which doesn't everybody. But I had watched the documentary, and I was really impressed at the ingenuity and on the spot, like creative of ideas, that the way they flowed, the way they developed, and some of that reminds me of the things I would do. And so I was trying to push myself a little further, try some more unusual sound effects or recording ideas or guitar tones, but or even instruments. I used a piano in the song Double Dolly, which I was using kind of the Beatles as a idea jumping off point for. In the Eras of Me, Pink Floyd, and then there's some that have a kind of there's a dub reggae kind of song on there that I really like called Dancing in My Grave. So there's a lot of stuff on there that's not typical of what I've done before. And I'm hoping that that's a sign of refreshed and renewed creative spirit. So I'll let you guys be the judge. I'm hoping there'll be a video out very shortly. In the meantime, I gotta get back to work and write a couple more songs. So good talking at you. So keep your head together. We're gonna get through this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.